A certain man lived in the city, right? Then he got a call from his hometown that he was next in line to be the king. Now, he was really afraid because he had no knowledge of his hometown. He had been living overseas his entire life. So, he got afraid of that. Then he went to his friend to seek for advice, and his friend encouraged him and said to him, go there, go and accept the crown. Even if you have no knowledge, you still bring something to the table. What you bring to the table is that you can implement all the knowledge you have acquired from traveling all over the world, and you can actually make a change in your hometown. What you can also do is surround yourself with wise men that have local knowledge, about your hometown, and they will help you out. So go there, keep your eyes on the prize, on the end goal, and step out in faith. Then he went to another friend of his and he asked for advice. And his other friend said, what? You'd better sit in the city and don't do it. Do you want to bring shame to your family name? If you accept the crown, you have no local knowledge. There's nothing. What are you going to do? You're going to bring shame to yourself and to your family. Even if you surround yourself with wise men, once they realize that you have no knowledge of the place, they will cheat you. So either way, it's a lose-lose situation. You had better not try, rather than try and fail. People are going to laugh at you. You're going to mock your family name and everything. Question is, whose voice will you listen to? Before you answer that, let me just say this. The man that invented the light bulb, Thomas Edison, he tried and he failed 1,000 times. He just had to try one more time and he got it right. So the 1,001st time was when he actually got it right, because he had a picture of it in here. And for as long as he had it in here, he knew there had to be a way for him to have it here. Can you imagine what it takes to fail 1,000 times? For the average person, after 20 times, it becomes quite embarrassing, doesn't it? So he tried and failed 1,000 times, but he got it right the last time. So anyway, whose voice will you listen to? I watched a movie a few days back, very, very powerful movie. And the only reason why I watched this movie was because there was a whole campaign about why nobody should watch the movie, right? So they made a whole video talking about how the movie was a portal and nobody should watch it because when the movie was created, the director, the crew members, the cast of the movie, something bad happened to them and it was a really bad movie. Nobody should watch it. Nobody should do this and that. And that got my attention, right? So I went to read the review. Then I found out that it was a movie showcasing the power of God, right? It was a movie that encapsulated stepping out in faith. Now, I understand their point because there was a lot of exposure about the dark side. And if you put out that much exposure without adequate prayer and fasting, the enemy can come for you. It makes a lot of sense. So anyway, so the movie in a nutshell was about a woman that moved into a new home with her children. Now, there was some sort of evil residing in the home and her last son became possessed. So at this point, it started to affect the other siblings and it started to affect their livelihoods, but she was in denial. She didn't believe in God or anything. So a lot of people told her to go to God, but she refused. Anyway, until she started to face the risk of going to jail and losing her kids. So that was when she ran to church and she called an apostle to help pray for the child. Now, as the prayer was about to start, the apostle said something and said to her that whatever you do not listen to it. Now, lo and behold, when the prayer started, right? So the child started to take forms of different people. The child took the form of her mother, took the form of her friends, took the form of different people and started to mock her. Was mocking her with her past, mocking her with her failures, mocking her with her shortcomings, was taunting her, laughing at her, falsely accusing her, But she did not give in to that because, the apostle had warned her. So she refused to listen to it. If she had listened, if she had given into that voice, she would have failed because that child would not have been delivered and her life would have gone down the drain. Thing is, most of the time we're faced with the voice of opposition whenever we want to make an important decision in our lives. Now, it may be a decision to step out in faith, to do something out of the norm. It may be a decision to live right, and walk in your purpose. Or it may be a decision to let go of our past and change the course of our lives for the better. And as soon as we make that decision, the voice of opposition comes, right? It may come as fear, stress, worry, anxiety. What if people don't like it? What if I get mocked? What if people reject me? What if I fail? What if this and what if that? But opposition is a trick. It's the ploy of the enemy to trick you out of your destiny. If you listen to it, if you give in to it, you become frozen and rooted to one spot in your life, not progressing or receding. You become the wife of Lot. If you're not familiar with who she is, she's a character from the Christian religion. She's a woman that lost her right to a name. However, she was the wife of Lot. Now, Lot happens to be a relative to Father Abraham. He was one of the most significant characters in the Bible. Now, the angel of God had come to warn them and told them to move out of their place of residence, which was Sodom and Gomorrah, because God was going to bring a destruction upon that town. And the angel said to them, keep moving forward, do not look back. You have to leave this town is going to be destroyed. And as they were going, she looked back. Now, who knows why she looked back? Maybe because she was a Sodomite herself. Now, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah did not believe in God, or the voice of God, or the voice of an angel. So maybe she looked back longingly. Or maybe she looked back in fear. The fear that what she was leaving behind was a lot better than where she was going. Either way, she gave in to the voice of opposition. And what happened to her? It was recorded that she became a pillar of salt. Now, salt back in the days was actually used for preservation, right? It was used to preserve food because they didn't have refrigerators back then, right? So it was used as a preservative to preserve food to stay longer. So what happened to her was her life was preserved in that one spot for eternity. She never moved forward. She never went backward. It was right there. Opposition can speak through anyone. It can speak through your family, friends, relatives, colleagues, anybody. And it doesn't always have to be a negative voice. It can be a very friendly voice, a voice that cares. If you take the story of Jesus as an example, he was speaking to his disciples about the plan and purpose for his destiny. And Peter, one of his disciples, said, "Oh no, never, that would never happen to you. Oh my God, no, that's not possible." And Jesus rebuked him because in that moment, Peter was an opposition to his destiny. So Jesus rebuked him and said to him, "Get thee behind me, Satan," which is what we're supposed to do when faced with opposition. We're to rebuke it. We're to cancel it. We're to negate it immediately before it festers. Now, I don't know what good book is applicable to you, but for me, it's the Bible. We're to find scriptures, positive words that cancels any negative word that presents itself. For instance, the voice of the current economic situation is saying there's a casting down. But I refuse that because my good book says what I will experience is a lifting up. And I will declare that. I will meditate on that. Because if I can see it in here, a way will be made for me to have it here. Now, I don't know what voice is speaking to you, telling you you will not make it, telling you you will not succeed, telling you that which you're about to do is impossible, mocking you, taunting you, laughing at you, reminding you of your past, reminding you of your failures, discouraging you. I don't know what voice is speaking to you, and that voice may be loud, but whatever you do, do not listen to it. Namaste.